Okay, so we have a graph of a function f. So this f, that's just the name of the function. It doesn't really have much mathematical significance. It's just really for reference. If we had a couple different graphs on here, it'd be necessary to talk about graph f or graph g or whatever. It's really just the name. Fred. Fine. Okay. F of 1, now it's asking about on this f, on this graph of f, when x is 1, what's the output for y? When x is 1, what's y? Because we always want to be remembering now, when we're talking about this graph of f, this is a collection of a whole bunch of points, right? And we'd use the solid line to kind of fill in the gaps in between those points. We're not here forever just making dots on a paper. So this f of 1 says, okay, when x is 1, what's the y coordinate that goes along with it that's on that graph of f? Okay, this f of x equals 1 is asking about what's this x input that gives me a output on the graph of 1. So it's really just kind of a fancy notation way of talking about x and y coordinates, ordered pairs that are on that graph. Okay, so let's scroll down just a little bit, and it talks about finding f of 1. So we're in this situation where we know x is 1. What's the y that goes along with it? So we want to go look at the graph of f here, see where x is 1. Let's go find the corresponding point on that graph. When x is 1, y is -2.
Okay.
So algebraically speaking, if I plug an x into my equation, which I don't have, I just have this visual representation of an equation. If I put in an x, I will get out a -2.
So this number here, really, f is 1. You just want to go to your x1 and follow it down until it hits a solid point on that line.
Right.
Okay.
So if I ask the question, what's f of 2? You would say that f of 2. What that's asking is, what's the y coordinate when x is 2? So you could go over here and go, okay, when x is 2, the corresponding y coordinate is 1.
Okay.
Okay? Now, let's think about this one, because this is the one that's really tricky for people. But really, it's the same idea. We're just talking about, okay, what do I put in that gives me out a 1? What do I put in for x? So we're in a situation like this. What is my x coordinate that gives me a y value of 1? That's this situation. So here, what I want to look at is where y is 1, where my output on f is 1. Okay, so I'm looking at my y-axis now, right? Because this is asking about a y output. So here's where y is 1. And then I want to go to the corresponding part on the graph that gives me an output of 1. Well, in this case, I have 2 of them. I might only have 1. I might have a whole bunch if the graph goes up and down a lot through 1, passes through 1 a whole bunch of time. In this case, I have 2. So I have 2 cases where y is 1 on this graph of f. I have an input of -2 for x that gives me a 1. And I have an input of +2 for x that also gives me a 1.
Okay.
Okay? So this is my x, this is my f of x in general, which we really can think about as our y coordinate.
Okay.
Okay, so that might simplify it a little bit. These problems are asking for just one of those. It just wants one value for x, so you could choose either -2 or 2. The system would take either.
Okay.
Okay? All right.
All right.